G'day everyone, g'day doggies fans, all things Bulldogs, episode 33. So let's I'll wait for a few people to jump on. I went a bit earlier than predicted, just saw the team list. I'm raring to go. Not too many surprises in the team. And as I see comments come up, I'll post them up and people can talk about them or whatever. We'll try and get this done in about 40 minutes to an hour today. Don't want to be going for an hour and a half every week. Although it was good. We had Paulie and Mark and Pete, Jaden, a few others, Brad, a bit of banter. So just wait for everyone to jump on. And see how we go. And the live stream will be available to view as usual if you do miss it. We're going to talk about Team Tuesday and the round one side. We'll also have an hour before the game. I will go live and tell you who's won the opportunity to pick some merch. There's about 25, 30 people who entered the competition, which was fantastic. Might talk a little bit about the racism stuff, but I was going to leave that for an NRL Media Watch episode. But just want to focus mainly on the preview for the Bulldogs today and see how we go. All right, let me get this team up. Don't know if you can see that. I'm sure everyone's having a look as we speak. The team list will be announced. Maybe that'll make it better for you. But pretty much a very similar side to what's been named in the trials. And as predicted, Kurt Mann, Sam Hughes, Josh Curran, Curtis Moran at the bench. Same as the game against the Sharks. Salmon gets the jump on the lock spot. Pawasa starting the season at prop. And Jacob Kiraz comes into the centre position ahead of Bronson Cherry. And Blake Wilson maintains his wing spot. Plenty of meters in that back five, I believe. Lots of good work ethic, lots of speed. I think it won't be long before Bronson gets his opportunity. And he may even start round one because Jacob Kiraz is still pending a fitness test. So what else have we got? You can keep looking at that. Not too many surprises, one would say. We'll have to look at the Eels team list, and if we get the New South Wales Cup lists up as well, we'll go through that as well. But I'm not sure if that'll be up in time. Let me have a quick look. Be good if they get that up on all the websites, quick smart, but the New South Wales Cup website generally very slow to update things, and not much has improved from what I can see. Draw. Let's look at it. We'll have a look at the Parramatta team as well. G'day everyone who's jumped on. Say hello when you're on. The team list's up. I'm just looking to get the Parramatta side up as well for the 4:30 match. There we go. Internet's running a bit slow, which is unfortunate. Might bring that one up for everyone. How you going, everyone? Sorry, I jumped on a bit early. Let's have a look at the Eels versus Bulldogs team lists and compare. So we've got Taff versus Gutherson, Simonson, Penasini, Morgan Harper, the former Bulldog, will make his debut for the Eels. Sean Russell, the other wing. The back line, Simonson, Penasini, Harper, Russell, all got games under their belt. Cohesion won't be a problem. I feel they're still vulnerable, though, as a back five, and I think we can get them there. Gutherson, obviously, that really good presence at the back. Not getting any younger, but still quite fast, very skillful, good at organising the defence. Dylan Brown and Mitchell Moses. Brown plays his 100th game. For the Dogs, Taff, Wilson, Carraz, Crichton, the captain, Addo Carr, Matty Burton and Drew Hutchison gets the first go at it. Both sides will be look to grind, I believe, and kick deep, kick long. But Parra did show in that trial that they wanted to throw that ball around and do a lot of offloads. And, you know, I think they're just going to chase it from the start. But that could fall into our hands. We may have some testing times early. But I think if we go out there and grind and stay in that contest and keep things tight, even if we go down a try or whatever, don't drop the heads and grind them into submission. I think we can do that, and then I think we can exploit them. But Parra, they didn't make the finals last year, but they had a lot of close losses, especially early in the season. Then they had that 1-point victory over the Panthers, which was a classic game. I think 2 or 3 field goals. You've got Regal, Campbell, Gillard, Joey Lussick, who's a handy player, Junior Paulo, Sean Lane, Bryce Cartwright, and Jermaine Hopgood. There's offloads galore in that side from Paulo, Lane, Bryce, Cartwright, and Hopgood. They can all offload the footy, and they'll be looking to do that. Brendan Hands had proven to be a very good hooker last year. They lost nothing in getting him in there and having but their coach did say, Arthur, that he wants to develop an 80-minute hooker, which is what they developed with Reed Marnie. So the forward packs, I think experience-wise, they have us in that back row, but, you know, it's still one of our strengths. And Kickout just going to have to get on top of Sean Lane. Preston going to have to get on top of Cartwright and vice versa. Preston will be marking Lane and Kickout will be marking Cartwright. So Salmon gets the jump, and that may change when they run out 24 hours before or an hour before the game. You could see Curran start. Doubt that you would see Moran or Mann start. And I think Hughes has a chance of starting as well. They could make some changes. But I think going with what they did in the 2 trials, getting as close to that as they can. And congrats to Pawasa. I'm not sure if he's in the top 30 yet, but he's been selected from the development list, as has Curtis Moran. Madison, Joe Offengowie, and Kelma Tuolagi. That is a very that's a very good bench as well. Parra have a very good side. It's cohesive. It's got many games together. You know, there's not too many weaknesses there, but I think we've got them for speed in the back line. I think we can put a lot of pressure on the likes of Morgan Harper and Will Penasini, and both the fact Bailey Simonson normally plays in the centres as well. All good players. I think we can put them under a lot of pressure. And I think the idea when kicking in general play from both teams would be to kick long, kick deep, kick high, and to really try and reduce the meters and the return meters, kick return meters of both fullbacks and wingers. As we've seen, Josh Adokar, he's beefed up a bit and he was getting some post-contact in his runs, running it straight into the teeth of the defence. Harley took a sideward move, didn't submit as much as he normally would, and you don't blame him, but definitely some more greater strength there. And so there's a chance that Ofahiki Ogden could join the side. You got Dejan Arce there to cover any halves injuries. Don't know much about Luca Moretti. And Makahisi Makatoa was a mainstay of their grand final team. His brother used to play for the Bulldogs in New South Wales Cup. And then you got Blaze Talagi. Don't know much about him. Our extended bench, Bronson, Toby Sexton, Jake Turpin. From that finger injury he got at training. Connor Tracy, still in doubt to even be available round 1. And Katoni Katoga, who did pretty well, I felt, with some really nice hits and a couple of good runs. Sharks game, only 1 hit up, though, in that time he spent on the field. Did some good defence, though. I doubt any of those players are coming in unless there's an injury. But Bronson Cherry, obviously the main chance to join their squad, with Jacob Carraz still under an injury cloud. And you know what? It's just great to know that Bronson had those 2 hit outs, took a lot of tough runs, seemed to get better as each game wore on, and, showed that he's still got pretty good timing in that, and, exceeded way beyond my expectations, to be honest. A few people tried to tell me that he'd be fine, and I didn't believe him, so it appears I was wrong. But anyway, he hasn't been picked, which I did predict, but he still may get to play. So what are we saying on the... No one's posting any chats yet. G'day all. Start chatting. Ask any questions. Yeah, I don't even need to type it, but anything you want to ask, anything that you would prefer to see with the team. We'll also talk about the shape of the top 30. G'day, Peter. There he is. Look at that. He says, afternoon. What do you think, Pete? What do you think about the squad? Pretty much as no real surprises from what we saw in the trials. Let us know, mate. Yeah, so, look, they got a good side, Para. I think we've got the better back line. But obviously, that back line's going to take a little while to click. I'm not making excuses. It's just a reality. But the key part is when you got Burton and Adokar, King, Kikau, Steve Crichton, Perez, and Wilson in that side, those players I named, and importantly enough, Marnie, Preston, and Moran have all played. They literally have the most cohesion in our squad. So they've had more games together than anyone else. Unfortunately, they're only averaging like 8 or 9 or 10 games across the team. If Parramatta, for instance, are 3 times that amount. So the odds are right on this. $1.47 versus $2.71. We are an outsider. We're not expected to win. If you're betting your house on this game, look, if the Dogs come out and win well, that's what we did in round 1 in 2004. So But Parramatta was sort of way on the way down that year. We were on the way up, and we had Sonny Bill Williams make his debut. So I don't see any Sonny Bill Williamses in our side, but we will see. We will see. I'll keep checking to see if the New South Wales Cup squad comes up. So Pete says pretty much as expected. Kawasa starting, good on him. Hope Carraz is ready. Yeah, I hope Carraz is ready too, but if he's not, you know, we're going to pour some Shiraz with Carraz, as you like to. But look, Bronson showed that he's there. I still think his timing's going to take a little while. In when you play in a realm, that speed goes up another couple of notches, and you know there's not unlimited interchange for fresh people to come on and show how great they are. But look, I don't mind definitely don't mind having Josh Curran on the bench, Curtis Moran, Kurt Mann, and Samuel Hughes. I'll tell you about our bench. There's not a lazy player on our bench this year. Where at times we saw lots of lazy mistakes made by people on our bench. Lazy misreads, lazy penalties, and that sort of stuff. Not naming names, but it's just been a thing. We just haven't had the impact we've needed. And when we've got some impact, it hasn't, you know, really been good enough. I think there's Jamin Salmon's a workhorse. Jacob Preston's a workhorse. Kick out. People don't call him a workhorse, but he does get in there and he moves off that line, moves off that inside, and narrows up and shortens those edges for the opposition, and he puts a lot of pressure on. And they look at him coming out the corner of their eye. But that's where you look at the likes of a good half, of a quick play, the ball will look to exploit our edges that way. Preston, he just grabs hold and doesn't let go. He's just so reliable out there. And I think Salmon in the middle is going to do a pretty good job. He'll run up, put on pressure. It won't just be Reed Marnie running out of the line. And as long as they're getting 2 and 3, you want 3 men in the tackle quite often. Good things lie ahead. Be interesting to see how long Powasa can last. I think it was great that he, due to circumstance, the fact that Hughes and Curran could only play 20, 25 minutes of that match, he was forced to play much longer minutes in that second half, as was young Shorty Moran. So with that being said, that allowed them to get some miles in their legs, and I think that's going to be really important for this game. I think Curran's going to play at least 40, maybe 45 minutes. I think Hughes will probably get through a similar amount. And Kurt Mann, they can all play long minutes. Do they give Reed Marnie a break? That's another thing I want to talk about. G'day, how you going, Pele? It's all about transferring it onto the field now. Yeah, so you've seen what they've been doing. He's been doing a really good job. You've seen what the team's been doing. You know they've got it in them. Now they've got to go and put it out on the field. Time for talks over, time for action. And what we just want to see is them have a play for 80 minutes, keep turning up for each other, and whatever the result, they show that they're in that game, they're fighting to win that game, and that's what it is. We don't want to see any more of this 20-0 rubbish after 15 minutes and whatever else. Jaden, g'day, mate. How you going? Enjoyed your podcast, mate. I thought Hughes suits starting over Price, but I'm very happy with the team list. That's good, mate. Very happy as well. It's just good. and it's great to know that there's such depth waiting to come in. I watched a lot of the Roosters games and watched Jake Turpin's efforts. He didn't let that side down at all. Doesn't run the footy though, but he tackles tenaciously and at a high rate. He doesn't miss that many tackles, young Jake Turpin. He's gutsy as hell. And the fact you've got Bailey Hayward who's going to give him a break and be utilised, we've finally got depth in that hooker position. And you even got young Bailey Diondo who can step up there whenever he needs to. So Kurt Mann, there's so much depth. Hughes starting over Pawasa. Yeah, I just think that it just enables Sam Hughes to come on when a little bit of heat's taken out of that game and just really build. I think he will build into the starting prop. But what I did notice, and I'd like to hear people's thoughts on this, is what I noticed about about Max King. Max King was probably, no one really spoke about him much, but he did a really good job in both trials. And I felt most of his runs were quality and he was taking the second hit up, which is what he was doing when he quickly got himself off the bench in 2022 and starting every game, where Vaughan would take hit up one, King would take two. We saw him bring the offload back. That is where we improve. That's where we stay in games. That's the sort of stuff, the sort of structure that they've got to get to. And I really think if Pawasa can just take those hit ups, get a pretty good play the ball away, especially off the kickoffs and that sort of stuff, it's going to take us a fair way. We're going to see our back five do a majority of the rucks, as we're seeing in many teams now. But I really think that there's a lot of meters to be made from those young fellas, and I'm just can't wait to see this back line of ours get some good ball, get some fast play the balls, and get some space out wide, because there's points in this side. One thing Gus has recruited, and he said this in his podcast, so I'm basically just repeating what he said, is that to get the rebuild off the ground, you have to be able to recruit points. Now, we all know that you need the forwards to lay the foundation before you can put the fancy walls up and whatever else. And that's but you've got to have those players there. It's one thing for the forwards to grind, but if you don't have the talent out wide, so it's a catch-22. I think we've got the talent and the speed and the skill in our back line. We've got a talented, threatening back row that can crash over for there's options there. There's options there for our halves. We've finally got the ball playing locks. And it's not just Salmon. Kurt Mann can do it on his hip, and Josh Curran can do it. And look, even Curtis Moran can play that role, and Harrison Edwards. Consistently, though, when they get into that role, one ball will go to ground or something like that. So they all get consistent. They should do well. I'd like to hear some more questions. What does everyone think about Zane Tedavano? Let's have a look at Zane. So Zane is 111 kilos, 6'2", 33 years old. And not much stats there to look at, unfortunately. But look, Zane has he's a big boy. Crichton said when he was at the club years ago, when he was coming through, He was a real leader out there. He led the contact in the scrimmages and the drills, and he was one of the ones who helped bring the culture to the club. Now, I know there's this stuff with his history and that. I don't want to talk about that. That's been dealt with, and that's for opinions for people to have. He's in our top 30. He's got a Bulldogs jersey on. I'm going to support him. Simple as that. And each to their own. But, yeah, we've signed Zane. I think it'll take him a while, although he looked pretty fit in a photo I saw today, which was fantastic. And we've announced the signing of Saluka Fafita. So we've got Zane Tedavano, Daniel Saluka Fafita, 2-year deal, another 112, 113 kilogram prop, 6'4". So we've finally got some size there. He's not going to be available for a while. And then we have the likes of Patolo to come back, who's not a small boy either. Ryan Sutton. There is some depth there now. There is some depth. It's not the quality depth that we're after, but it's depth. And when you've got players like Jack Todd coming through, who's going to learn off these players and feed off them, it's going to, it shows good signs for the future. See if we've got any traction with the New South Wales Cup squads. If anyone sees them, let me know and tell me where they are, and I'll go look it up. Jaden, plenty of experience. Don't think he'll play much NRL unless a ton of injuries, but I think he'll be good for the kids coming up. Yeah, I agree, Jaden. I agree. If he gets fit and he's doing the job in Cup, we need a big boy to come in and show the way, he'll be there. G'day, Al Benjamin. Fafita won't be playing till about May. And look, I'm writing him off for 2024. It's best to get him in there with the club. So people are saying, why are we paying for this guy to come now when he's injured? ACLs, they also could, we're not going to see the best of him till 2026. That's how ACLs work. But 2025, after a pre-season, touch wood and no more injuries, he should be getting ready to rock and roll and making a strong contribution to our team. But this year, I'm expecting, if he's coming back in May, hopefully off an ACL, he's going to slowly play a few games in New South Wales Cup, probably come off the bench and might be ready for a taste of first grade for the last, 5-6 games of the season. And if you can do that off the bench, and that's all going to depend, if we're playing well and we're in contention, we may not get a chance. It's all going to depend what he can do and what he can get through. So, yeah, exactly what Pete just said. So Pete answered that before I did. So thanks, Peter. You've got a good way of keeping it short and sweet. It's definitely not me. All right, so now it was on the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs news page, which a lot of people think is an official page. It's a very dedicated page that gets things out very quickly, but it's not the official word from the club. I've not seen a news report. I've only seen them showing Poasa's team photo, individual photo, which is now on the NRL site. Because it's on that NRL site, I could be wrong, but I just think that they've put 2 and 2 together and said he's in the top 30 now. I don't think he is, and I don't think he will be, but I could be wrong. I think they're going to keep it at 29 players plus Jackson Tupane, who's number 30, and they won't. And they'll just keep that breathing space, whether they upgrade Poasa to the 30th man when they can, or bring in someone else, because he's on a development for this year, joins the 2025 squad next year. So I will have a little look at that top 30. Where is it? No, not that one. I'll just find this for us. Won't take me long. Players. Bulldogs. So we'll share this. Sorry about that. So we still have Bailey Biondi-Odo in that team. So we got him listed there, but he's not in the top 30. Gus Gould confirmed that to the Dogfather the other day. The Dogfather is a bit perplexed and did not understand why, but he's not in the top 30. So that's unfortunate, but he's still in the New South Wales Cup squad and will be eligible for selection from round 10 onwards. So you got the top 30s: Blake Taft, Blake Wilson, Bronson Cherry, Tracy, Hutch, Perham, Karaz, Salmon, Skelton, Samrani is top 30. Was on our development list for quite a while. Had suffered some terrible injuries, but he was always supposed to be top 30 this year. Adokar Olawapu, who you never know, could make an appearance towards the end of the season. Still eligible for jersey flag. Matt Burton, Stephen Crichton, Toby Sexton. Sexton's off contract at the end of this year, as is Gerald Skelton, Hayes Perham, and Bailey's off contract, but he's in New South Wales Cup. So Chris Bartolo's off contract at the end of the year. We've got Preston, Jake Turpin, Josh Curran, Tony Katoga, Kurt Mann. Liam Knight's off contract at the end of the year. Max King. Pawasa is supposed to join the top 30 next year. Still finding out about that. Reed Marnie, Ryan Sutton, Sam Hughes, who's been extended. Bill Kickout, and Zane Tedavano has a 1-year contract with us for 2024. Daniel Saluka Fafita is with us for 24 and 25. So we'll be seeing more out of him next year, I believe. Coming back from ACLs are never easy to do. But it's because Pawasa was pictured here that I think that Bulldog side has just put 2 and 2 together. But maybe they know someone and was told. You never know. But that's just what I think. So hello, everyone. There's 10 people on watching, which is fantastic. Thanks for coming in. Say hello if you want. If you got a question, we'll throw it up on the screen. Oh, I missed this one. Jaden said, very excited for Saluka. Big potential, just has to stay healthy. He does. The thing is, both Poasa and this guy, Fafita, the Roosters thought they were going to be, sort of in the position that Terrell May's in right now with their club. And Terrell May was fantastic on the weekend. He's someone I'm very disappointed we're not bringing to the club. But what I would suggest is that I've got a feeling that they will bring Taylor May across to the club. And they're the type of team, just like the Panthers, that quite easily, they'll need an outside back. They're not going to have Manu next year. They're not going to have Suoliti. So it makes sense that they'll be able to have money to afford someone like Taylor May to come play with his brother Terrell. Makes complete sense. They won't have Jared Warrior-Hargraves next year. Can upgrade Terrell May to that money. So, and Tyrone May could be just one of those players they bring back and, give him a year contract and have him help out the club. I can see that happening. I can see that playing out. As I said, guys, if you see any news about the New South Wales Cup, let me know. I'm having a flick through. Let me have a look on the Facebook. Can't see anything at the moment. Oh, I've got to show this team list. Benny Hassan does it again. G'day, Benny. Hope you come on and said hello. It's a pretty good source. The fact pass has been prone to the staying side might be an indication this could be true. It could be, Pete. As I said, I think that the that Bulldogs page, to me, they announce things as they come in from the news sites. I just think they've got it from putting two and two together. He's in the development squad. Curtis Moran's in the development squad as well. The change to the rule this year was development players can play in round one. So, and which means if they've got players in the development squad which are working their ass off and doing a great job in the preseason, they can get their opportunity straight away, which is fantastic. It says a lot about that. It does say good things about our culture, I believe. But yeah, I share a lot of stuff from that page because it's just sharing news and updates directly from the club. Haven't heard it announced too many things that are wrong. But yeah, I just cannot find a source anywhere other than there that says that this has occurred. And for that reason, I'm just going to play the percentages from what I can see. Anyway, I need to stop sharing that screen so you can see my beautiful face. Hello, everyone. 12 of yous on now, which is fantastic. Say hello if you haven't. Where's Big Mark Connell? Did we scare him off last week, Pete? I should send you the link to come join the live and just watch the beauty unfold. You could put your guitar. You could bring your guitar and play along. That'd be good. I'm going to share this. All right. Sorry. Look at this. Burton and Adokar. That combination of the dreams are made of. And there it is again, the same 17 that's been named. Probably should tell Benny that should have named the extended, but it looks fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Better give it a like. Love his artwork and an even better bloke. So anyone got any tips? What's your tip? Anyone tipping the Bulldogs to win and by how much? I'm not going to give you my tips. I just think it. I don't want to be negative. I don't want to be too positive. Just sort of want to enjoy the footy, see it unfold. But you know that's not going to happen. Going to be swearing at the TV at some point in the game. Hopefully not too often. Hopefully I'm doing more cheering than swearing. G'day everyone who's joined. Thanks for joining. Probably, I think I will touch on the racism thing for a couple of minutes. I think it's very unfortunate that the media are just hanging the alleged perpetrator out to dry. I think they assume that common sense says that we're all understand what it is and how it goes. And I think most people have a good grasp of it. But there's more education needs to be done, because from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of people not saying anything at all. The silent majority tend to be more archaic in their views, and the ones who don't understand or don't think it's racism would usually, it's because of the fact that that word, which is dehumanizing and is designed to make people of another cut, because of their skin color, feel that they're more closely related to animals and less intelligent. It's dehumanizing, and we know that. And when, you know, two dark-skinned fellas say something that's a racist term or has racist connotations, it's done a lot in the rap culture. It doesn't help the cause. It's a stupid thing that he did. It didn't help the game. I think it does bring the game into disrepute a little bit. At the same time, I understand why people don't think it's racism. You know what I mean? So education needs to be done so people understand why we just don't go there. That's what needs to happen. And it needs to be a mature debate. And the media are absolutely disgusting the way they're going about it. I rang through on SEN today and spoke to Ben Davis, and, you know, they tried to, you know, they ended up cutting me off and then didn't really listen to what I had to say. They just said, do we need more education? I don't think we do. You know, they should know. Common sense means the common person knows. Well, I think there's a lot of, when you've got 26 million people in this country, and from everything I'm seeing on social media, a good 30-40% of people are saying it's not racism. Well, it's not common at all. People need to be educated so we all understand and can move forward together. And the media haven't done one bit of education in this space, and that is the issue. The media need to educate, not just get outraged at everything. All right? It was stupid of him to do it. It's like, you know, it's funny though. I did see him talking to the referee, and this could just be me making up in my head, but I think I saw him say something or mouth the phrase as if I would do that or say that. But anyway, I could be wrong. If it turns out that he was saying something against the Indigenous race of Australians and saying something directly against Indigenous people, well, he should be hung out from the neck, you know, and given 20 weeks. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say on that cause, and we'll get back to the Bulldogs. But hopefully we'll see more education around so people know what the go is, and we don't have people feeling, you know, dehumanized or victimized or whatever else, no matter what the intention. But I think it's a little bit assumptive to say that everyone's on board with that this is just racism and we have to stamp it out of the game, because I don't think that Spencer Leniu would at all be racist towards anyone of the same sort of skin color, because, you know, I know a lot of my Indigenous mates, Maori mates and stuff, have all experienced racism, and it's not on. So you know, it's just something that needs to be educated. And for him to say that everyone should know and it's common sense is bullshit, because obviously everyone doesn't know, or they wouldn't be opposing the rhetoric. Anyway, Paulie, g'day, mate. Thanks for joining in. I'd expect you to come on and play 60 after Pawasa stint, with Pawasa giving us 10 to 15 minutes in the second half. Yeah, I think you're in the ballpark. I reckon Pawasa will last about 15 minutes in his first stint, and they'll be looking to bring, if we're doing well and everything's going well, sure, they'll let him go an extra 5 or whatever else. yeah, surely they'll go. They'll keep it going, but I think if he's starting to show signs of tiredness, which he was after about 13 minutes against the Sharks, I think they'll be looking to bring on Sam Hughes or Josh Curran as that first rotation. I think it's likely that Curran might play the longer minutes. I think they'll definitely get Poasa back on for 10 or 15 minutes in the second half. I think he's likely to play 25 minutes in the match. 10 or 15 at the start, 10 in the second half. That's what I'm thinking. And hopefully, and I'll expect that they'll try and build him up through that intensity that he'll get in that opening stint, because it's going to be intense. There's nothing more intense than Junior Paulo and Regan Campbell-Gillard. You know, they're tough boys in the middle. So, especially Paulo, he's just a beast. So, Pauasa's out there to try and match those guys, and if he can win 48% of the battle, that puts us in good stead for a Sam Hughes to come on and do his thing, for Josh Curran to come on and do his thing. I think we might see the likes of Kurt Mann play quite long minutes as well, because while Kurt isn't huge, he does have that footwork and he can get in behind the ruck. He has the leg speed and get a quick play the ball away, which means they don't always have to rely on the fullback to do that run or a dummy half run to get us out from the 4th to the 5th, so Burton can do the big bomb. I think we're going to be one-dimensional, as we have been quite often. I think that will happen at different times, and we will see that. But that's just going to be because I think we're going to be grinding it out, be under pressure, just be trying to retain possession and get some good field position off the kicking game of Matt Burton. But I would not be surprised if some of the earlier kicks are done by Drew Hutchison, and that they try and share that around as much as they can. But 2 left footers, a lot of eyes will be on Sexton and Hutchison and Blake Taff. Unfortunately, have already been scapegoated from the trials. People are going to be watching them, and if things aren't going great for Canterbury, they're 2 players that are going to be under a heap of pressure from the fan base early, and I don't think it will necessarily be an indication of how well they've played or haven't played. They're just going to be under the watch more than anything else. That's just how I predict it. I think Burton's going to be under a lot of pressure. In the NRL preview for the game, which I saw on the Las Vegas coverage, the only mention or the only footage they showed of the Bulldogs was Matt Burton in a bit of slow motion about to kick the ball. And that goes with the rhetoric that the commentators will be alerting everyone to the performance of Matt Burton non-stop throughout the games. So, and that comes with the territory. I get it. But, yeah, not sure how if it'll be a fair representation of how he's actually played. I felt he played really well in that second trial, especially that first half. And, he's young with a team that's not connected. As soon as they can get connected, the better he's going to play, the better everyone else is going to play. But we're going to need to him and the likes of the Fox to get points, to utilise that combination that they've got, because it is a pretty good combination, and it's scored. I think it's been the best combination for scoring points that we've had over the last 2 years. So, any more questions on here? Have we got more questions about the game? What are people's predictions? I'd love to hear. I reckon we'll go for about another 10 minutes maximum. From what I'm gathering, most people are happy with the team. I think I think it's a good side. I like that Wilson's been picked. I like that Bronson Cherry has to sort of potentially work harder to get into that squad. And that's not because I think I want him to be in the best 17. If he hits his potential and gets anywhere near where he was, Bronson Cherry, I expect that that we're going to be so much better for it. But I like the fat. Oh, g'day, Todd. Whack you up there. Todd runs the International Bulldog Supporters Facebook group, which is fantastic. Good group out there. So for Bronson, I think him having to chase that position, that starting position, it hasn't been handed to him, but he may still get to start because Carraz may be out. But for him to have to go to Cup and, be better than all the Cup guys and show how good he is on that stage, knowing that he's way better than that stage, it just might bring even more hunger and better results for our club if that is the case. And I'm thinking that with Toby Sexton as well. Toby did not let himself down in any of the trial matches. Admittedly played against the sort of easier parts of the game, I would say. But he hasn't let himself down at all. I like what I saw last year. And he can defend all right too, Toby. He gets his body in behind and has a real crack. Doesn't miss too many in the line, so we haven't lost too much from. That was one of the best things about Kyle Flanagan in our side. So Drew can do it as well. Can defend, and both play with a lot of heart and a lot of passion. So I'm expecting the fact that the likes of Bronson Cherry and Toby Sexton, even your Jarrell Skeltons, he looks pretty fired up to perform. They're all chasing the Holy Grail. They all want to be in this Bulldog side. You can see that. They want to play here. Anytime you hear Toby, he's saying it's the best decision he's ever made to come to Canterbury. This creates competition, and competition drives performance. And we're going to need it if we're going to win the comp this year. Where does Cherry fit into the season, mate? What are your thoughts? So I think Bronson, as I just said, he's going to push hard. I think he's next man up. When Connor Tracy gets going, it may push him back one run. Just on where they are in their careers. But with Bronson, I think he's a big body. He's still got the speed. I don't think he's quite as quick. He's not as electric, not as elusive as he was. But he's still got, footy smarts about him. He's a football player, no doubt about it. And he's back at he was a Bulldogs junior to start with, so he's back where he belongs. And I think he's going to play a big part in our season, more so in the 2025 season. I worry about Carraz because of just the injuries he's had with his back and that. Like they're just niggling. I've had a back issue for years, even when I wasn't as fat as I am now. They're not easy to fix. But so I just think that having that depth is fantastic in that competition for spots. But unfortunately, I think we're going to lose a few of these people in our back line over the next couple of years. Well, obviously, but it may be hard to keep Jarrell Skelton or Blake Wilson, And then you got young Jordan Sabrani coming through. Now, he's not a small boy. He's sort of got a similar sort of build to Preston, I reckon. Like he's a little bit lanky, tall, but big, not easy to handle. And when he gets fully grown and fully fit, all barring injury, he's another one who's going to put his hand up. And young Eli Clark, defensively, I love this kid. I love some of the hits he put on in New South Wales Cup. Almost did such a good job in Flegg as well whenever he went back there. And showed he could play against that Shark side for 60 minutes and just kept taking the most fearsome runs of all the centers out there. So a young kid, another one we're probably going to have to make room for him in the future. Any more questions? Any more questions? I'm going to go for about 5 more minutes. We've covered a fair bit. I think it's going to be a very tough order for the Bulldogs to beat the Eels at CommBank. Losing Micah Sevo is a good thing for us that they lost him. But, they got class and size on their bench. I believe we've got the more energy, the more workmanlike bench. And yeah, I don't mind the balance of our side. I just think Eels are at another level. And if we're going to win, the likes of Max King, Sam Hughes, Josh Curran, I could just name, everyone's obviously going to have to play well, obviously. But that forward pack has to go to levels that they've never been at as a pack, right? The individuals can do what the individuals do, but as a pack, they have to hunt. Has to be 1, 2, 3 punches, and with defence, they've got to hunt like a pack. They got to make Reid and Campbell Gillard think twice about just running it straight into the teeth of our defence. And they want to smash the likes of Jermaine Hopgood or Jermaine Hopgood, who's a very good player on low money at the Eels. So, g'day, Big Roo. Up at the Dogs. Shout out to all things Bulldogs. Shout out to you, Big Roo. Thanks for coming on and saying hello, brother or sister. I was hoping Big Mark would get on here and say hello, but he's not here, so he'll have to come on next time. Dane should be back in a couple of weeks. I've been saying that for quite a while. Those who remember Dane and love Dane, the South supporter, Newcastle supporter, he's getting fired up about the footy. He likes AFL as well, though, just quietly. So do I. I go for the Swans, but not the same way as I go for the Bulldogs. So there we go. Any more questions people want to throw out or ideas they have about the game or what they're worried about? Feel free to throw it there. And just remember, let's stop the screen. Jacob Carraz, Jacob Preston, Josh Addo-Carr. Brought to you from the Nighttime Podcast, not just a Newcastle supporters podcast. They talk about all league and do good stuff with charities and get involved with the fans. They're just a full-on. So well done to Dean Smith and the boys. Bring on 2024. Bloody oath, Todd. Cannot wait. So that's my thoughts, guys. Thanks for sharing everything that you have on the situation. An hour before kickoff, we'll know the team, and then we'll be able to see who was the closest to picking or predicting the NRL round 1 squad for those of you that went in the competition. And if we have people on the same amount, I will do a random draw. And 1 or possibly 2 people will be able to choose one of those license plates. I've got some other stuff as well that if you prefer, but we'll just get on the chat and talk about it, and then I'll let everyone know what they selected and wanted to and won. So there you go. Like, share, subscribe, do all that. Much appreciated. Thanks to everyone who's jumped on and said hello and given me their feedback. And I look forward to speaking to you all throughout the week. I'll probably do an NRL Media Watch episode and podcast surrounding my thoughts on Spencer Leniu, which will be a little bit more in depth, and talk about Silent Australia and how the media are exploiting this situation. And that's not downplaying racism at all. It has to stop. It has to be, dissolved as much as we possibly can. But if they're going to go on like everyone's in the know and it's just a choice people make, they're far from, they're mistaken, and I think they know that. And some of these media personalities themselves are fucking racists, and I know that for a fact. Just like some of my friends are or have been. Luckily, most of my friends are not. And I wouldn't call them friends, but people that I've known and met and worked with and all that sort of stuff. Can't tell people how to act. You can just tell them what you think's right and wrong. Anyway, that's me preaching, and I've said enough. Go the Dogs. And thanks for tuning in, everyone. Much appreciated.